The year is 1587. On a remote island off the coast of what we now know as North Carolina, a fledgling English settlement struggles for survival. Over 100 men, women, and children, led by John White, represent hope for a new life in a new world. But their dreams of a brighter future would soon vanish into the ether, leaving behind a mystery that has haunted historians for centuries. The Roanoke colony, once brimming with life and promise, had disappeared entirely. No trace of the settlers, no sign of struggle, only an unsettling silence hanging heavy in the air. The only clue, the word Croatoan carved into a post, a cryptic message that deepens the enigma rather than providing answers. Join us as we delve into the heart of this historical puzzle, examining the evidence, exploring the theories, and attempting to unravel the truth behind the lost colony of Roanoke. In 1587, a group of 115 English settlers arrived on Roanoke Island, a strip of land buffeted by the winds and waves of the Atlantic Ocean. Led by John White, they were pioneers, venturing into a new world with dreams of establishing a permanent English colony. Life on Roanoke was harsh, a constant struggle against the elements and the unfamiliar. Food was scarce, tensions ran high, and the relationship with the native Algonquin tribes was, at best, tenuous. John White, appointed governor of the colony, knew that their survival depended on securing supplies from the mainland. He reluctantly left Roanoke for England, promising to return as soon as possible. But fate, it seemed, had other plans. England was embroiled in a war with Spain, and White found himself stranded, unable to return to Roanoke for 3 agonizing years. Upon his eventual return in 1590, White was met with an eerie silence. The once bustling settlement was deserted, the houses abandoned, the streets overgrown. The only sign of life, a single word carved into a wooden post, Croatoan. No other message, no explanation, just that single haunting word, Croatoan. The name of a nearby island, home to a Native American tribe that had shown some friendliness towards the colonists. Was it a message, a plea for help, or a final desperate clue to their whereabouts? The mystery deepened. White searched desperately for any sign of his family, for any trace of the colonists, but his efforts proved futile. The colonists had vanished, seemingly into thin air, leaving behind a scattering of possessions and a mystery that would echo through the centuries. What had become of the lost colony of Roanoke? Had they perished from disease, starvation, or conflict? Or had something more sinister transpired on that wind-swept island? Theories abound, each attempting to shed light on the colonists' fate. Some believe they integrated with the native tribes, their English identities fading into the fabric of the New World. Others point to evidence of conflict, suggesting a violent end at the hands of hostile natives or even Spanish forces. The truth, however, remains elusive, lost to the mists of time. The disappearance of the Roanoke colonists stands as one of history's most enduring enigmas, a stark reminder of the fragility of life and the enduring power of the unknown. Their story, though shrouded in mystery, serves as a poignant reminder of the human spirit's unwavering desire to explore, to conquer, and to leave its mark on the world. But the question remains, what became of the lost colony of Roanoke? The answer, it seems, lies buried beneath layers of time and speculation, waiting to be unearthed. Could a community of over 100 people simply vanish? The theory of assimilation offers a compelling, if unsettling, possibility. Imagine, if you will, the plight of the Roanoke colonists, stranded on a remote island, resources dwindling, and their leader gone. The native tribes, particularly the Croatoans, represented their only lifeline. The Croatoans, led by Chief Manteo, had shown a degree of tolerance towards the English settlers, even engaging in trade and sharing knowledge of the land. Is it possible, then, that faced with insurmountable odds, the colonists sought refuge with the Croatoans? Perhaps, driven by desperation, they abandoned their failing settlement and sought protection within the tribe. Over time, they may have integrated into Croatoan society, adopting their customs, their language, their very way of life. Marriages between colonists and natives could have further blurred the lines, their descendants carrying on a blended heritage, their English origins fading into legend. Supporting this theory are tantalizing clues, whispers from the past. English objects found in native settlements, accounts of natives with European features, and stories passed down through generations speak of a possible merging of cultures. However, concrete evidence remains elusive. No definitive proof of a mass integration has ever been found. The assimilation theory, while plausible, remains just that, a theory. The mystery of the lost colony endures, a puzzle with missing pieces. Chapter 3. Life on Roanoke was a constant struggle for survival. The colonists, ill-equipped for the harsh realities of the New World, faced a relentless barrage of challenges. Food was scarce, the land unforgiving, and the threat of disease ever present. Imagine, if you will, the growing desperation as supplies dwindled and the promised relief from England failed to materialize. The colonists, weakened by hunger and ravaged by unfamiliar diseases, would have been easy prey to the unforgiving wilderness. Malaria, dysentery, typhoid, these invisible killers could have swept through the colony, leaving few survivors in their wake. The local wildlife, while potentially a source of sustenance, could also have carried deadly parasites and diseases. The colonists' desperation may have led them to consume unfamiliar plants, some of which could have been poisonous. The lack of clean water sources would have exacerbated their plight, further weakening their already fragile hold on life. The absence of any mass graves or skeletal remains, however, casts a shadow of doubt on this theory. While it is possible that the elements and scavenging animals could have obliterated any trace of the colonists, the lack of physical evidence leaves the theory of starvation and disease inconclusive. Chapter 4. The late 16th century was a time of intense rivalry between England and Spain. A clash of empires played out on the high seas and in distant lands. The Roanoke colony, a fragile foothold in the New World, would not have escaped the notice of the Spanish, who saw English expansion as a direct threat to their own ambitions. Is it possible then that the Spanish, ever vigilant for an opportunity to undermine their rivals, played a role in the disappearance of the Roanoke colonists? The Spanish, with their superior naval power, could have easily launched a surprise attack on the vulnerable colony. The colonists, outnumbered and outgunned, would have stood little chance against seasoned Spanish soldiers. The Spanish, driven by a desire to eliminate any challenge to their dominance, may have eradicated the colony, leaving no survivors to tell the tale. Adding weight to this theory are historical records indicating Spanish patrols in the vicinity of Roanoke around the time of the colonists' disappearance. However, concrete evidence of a Spanish attack remains elusive. No signs of battle, no Spanish artifacts, and no written accounts confirming such an event have ever been found. The theory of a Spanish attack, while plausible given the geopolitical climate of the time, remains speculative. The mystery of Roanoke's fate endures, a puzzle with pieces that may never fully align. The lost colony of Roanoke stands as a stark reminder of the capricious nature of history, a tale of ambition, hardship, and ultimately, enduring mystery. The colonists, their dreams and aspirations, vanished into the mists of time, leaving behind more questions than answers. What truly transpired on that remote island? Did the colonists find refuge with the Croatoans, their identities merging with the native population? Did they succumb to the relentless onslaught of starvation, disease, or conflict? Or did the Spanish, driven by imperial ambition, orchestrate their demise? We may never know the definitive answer, but the search for truth, the pursuit of understanding, is what drives us to explore the past. What do you believe happened to the lost colonists of Roanoke? Share your thoughts and theories in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe to History Mystery for more explorations into the world's most fascinating historical enigmas.